You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
it's impressive.
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thanks for being with us with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. We get this from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Jamie, would you make my morning and say the name of my favorite Texas Southern baseball player?
Ola Hyde, Ola Run, Timalahan. Still can't believe after all these years. It's still stuck in my brain.
No, I think that's awesome.
Ola Hyde, Ola Run, Timalahan.
Yeah.
Man, it was a rough day in right field for that too.
I wonder whatever happened to him. He's probably some kind of
probably some sort of I don't know, investment banker making
I had banker in my head too.
Making gazillions of dollars.
I had some high level banker in my head as well. That's exactly right.
Mm-hmm. Jamie, didn't you and maybe it's him? You and Gio have somebody that you prepared for, and they never played in that game.
I don't remember that.
I could have sworn there was a name that was like that.
Yeah.
That you guys spent like hours trying to figure out what it was. It was you and Gio.
I think we spent, I don't know about hours, but we definitely spent a good amount of time trying to figure out that one. Yeah.
He nailed it.
Oh, we hope so. Problem is there was stretches of struggling.
There. There was laughter.
There was laughter and crying and.
God, I was going over to Brownfield for something, and I was listening to that game, and you guys had me laughing so hard.
It's the only time in my life I can remember being on air and not being able to like catch my breath because I was laughing so hard. It was so incredibly unprofessional. And, man, it was hard.
Well, it was entertaining.
The wind was really whipping that day, and I think he was, if I remember correctly, he was a track athlete that they were trying to turn into a baseball player. And they put him out there in right field, and it was a nightmare. I mean, it was the wrong day. I mean, the wind was whipping, and he just was on the struggle bus. I mean, he just kept getting backed over and run over and all that. He'd come in, the ball would go over his head, he'd go back, and it'd drop in front of him. I mean, it was just a nightmare for the dude. And then the name was awesome, and Mr. Giovanetti and I, we kind of got the giggles.
You kind of got the giggles. Well, you gave. I mean, it was entertaining, and that's part of the goal of this whole thing. I mean, you want to be informative and be accurate.
But give the kid credit. He kept going back out there trying again.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I would have hated for. I mean, if I'm being honest, I would have hated for anybody from Texas Southern to be listening and feel like we were making fun of him. We weren't trying to. It was just
probably not the first time somebody's laughed when they've said his name, though.
No, and his name was really cool.
Yeah.
It's just, it was more the struggles in the outfield that were really making us laugh.
Yeah.
More than just the name.
Yeah. All right. Somebody wants to know if I've ever been to Hawaii. I have not. I have not been to Hawaii. So there you go. All right.
Got to get those Lady Raiders to play in a
that'd be nice, yeah.
female Maui invitation.
I don't know. I think that'd be great. That'd be great. That'd be awesome. That'd be fun. That'd be fun for them.
Do that.
I think their mission is to go somewhere every Thanksgiving trip, which is, every Thanksgiving, which is what a lot of teams like to do. Everybody, but not everybody can play out of town. Somebody's got to play. I guess you can have tournaments somewhere. They're going to go to Vegas this year for Thanksgiving, so that's good. That'll be fun for them. Yeah. All right.
Can't imagine a worse place to be for Thanksgiving.
Well, you would say even on your best day it's the worst place, or even on your worst day it's the worst place, right? I mean, it's not your cup of tea.
What's the worst day to be in Vegas? I mean, is that I
got to think Christmas Day is pretty depressing, but who knows? I'm sure there's probably people gambling, Christmas morning.
I don't know. Maybe it's like the least busy then. Maybe that's the best time.
You get to run
there.
of the tables. You can,
like if you're someone whose kids are out of the house and you're not spending that particular day with your adult children, you're like, we love Vegas. And it's probably a little bit more easy to move around that day.
I guess. I mean, that
I would think the first day of the NCAA tournament, which you've done before, would have so many people there that maybe that to me would be the worst day.
Mm-hmm.
New Year's Eve.
I think New Year's Eve would be. I think that'd be a lot of. I think that would be a lot of fun to be there New Year's Eve.
For what Jamie's talking about, though, I think the place would be packed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
so it would be standing room only in the streets.
Yeah, so that would be the worst day then.
Yeah.
For me, but not for Chuck.
No, I'll think of all the hands he could shake.
Right, that'd be outstanding. All right, we've got a lot of high school playoff games, and I'm not going to go through the whole list. I'm going to hit some of the highlights. So if I don't mention your school, I'm sorry. I don't mean to slight you. Lamesa and Shallowater will play tonight at Lubbock Cooper. That'll be at 7 o'clock. Also this evening, the Lubbock Roosevelt Eagles will take on the Canadian Wildcats. That will be at Happy State Bank Stadium there in Canyon. Brownfield is in action tonight. They play Muleshoe. New Deal tonight will play in Dimmitt against the Amarillo Highland Park Hornets. I didn't want to say Highland Park without Amarillo because people are like, why is Dallas going to Dimmitt? Because that'd be something I would say, right?
Would you say it just like that?
I would.
Okay,
I would. What is it? Levelland is in the playoffs. They'll play Monahan at the Mustang Bowl in Andrews. Remember, Lyle Leone is their head coach, former Red Raider receiver. Not pretty much. Sundown is in action tonight against Stratford, and Olton plays Farwell tonight in Littlefield. So those are some of the games tonight. Tomorrow night, we'll have Lubbock Cooper taking on El Paso Bel Air. So hopefully they don't mess up the field too much tonight. There's no rain expected, so it should be okay. That'll be a 5:30 broadcast, 6 o'clock kick. And then Friendship in action tomorrow at home against People's Bank, against El Paso Eastland. God, I wanted to say El Paso Plano, but there's no such thing. El Paso East Lake. That'll be at 5 o'clock, and then the kick at 5:30. Okay, so that will be that tomorrow. The guys will be at Twin Peaks today, Tech Talk. So be on the lookout today for Aaron Dickens and Mike Gustafson. So you can join them at 3 o'clock today at Twin Peaks. We get this nice note, Jamie. Congrats to Jamie on your daughter's signing with LCU. Really cool. That is really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's a family achievement and a daughter achievement too. So good for her. So nice to see that. Is Haxton the guy to take the Mankini to the beach? That's a question from Dan in Dallas. I don't think that we want to see that or even have that in our brain, do we? Any of us? I don't matter how good you think you look, unless it's your significant other. She's probably the only one that thinks that you look good in a mankini.
I don't. Hax is more of a hotel room guy. Okay. I don't think he's more of a beach guy.
You don't think he'll see the beach?
Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. Yeah. He's got to take pictures for social media. So.
Right.
Yeah. But he's more of a chill in the hotel room guy.
Chill in the hotel room.
Yeah, he's not really a get out and go see all the sights guy.
Okay.
Let's be clear. This is Chuck commenting on what someone else is wearing when they're swimming at the beach.
I've just moved on.
Well,
for fear of being blinded on a Thursday.
To each his own, right? To each his own. 6:23 this morning on the morning drive. We don't talk very much NBA, but kudos to the Nets for not hiring the Boston coach, Ime Udoka, who was suspended because he had, let's just say, more than an affair with a former Celtic employee. They were all but ready to sign him, and you just kind of went, what? Are you guys just tone deaf to everything with the whole Kyrie Irving stuff going on? Mm-hmm. And so good for the Nets to to move on and do something different. They made their interim guy the head coach, so good for them.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5 days a week together. Why would we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right,
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Nice to have you with us this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent and Jeff McGuire. I'm Chuck Heinz. Nice to be with you from the First United Bank Double T 97.3 studio. As we'll take your thoughts, comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to Double T 97.3.com for that, or the mobile app. Benchmark hotline is open as well at 806-771. 5973. I had a brain freeze there for a second. I was like, okay, 771-5973, 806 in front of that. Texas Tech Red Raiders in action tonight for basketball. They take on Texas Southern. We will have that for you at 6 o'clock on Double T 97.3. And then also the tip at 7 on 100.7 The Score after Red Raider football with Joey McGuire. Red Raiders are ranked 25th in the country and coming off of a win the other night over Northwestern State, 73-49. And I'm sure that when they went back and looked at the film, there were some things that they want to do better, maybe, I don't know, play cleaner or execute the offense more. It's hard to be critical when you win a ball game 73-49, but I'm sure the coaching staff found some things where they could improve on.
Yeah, I mean, those 20 turnovers jump out at you.
Yeah.
So that would be, in my guess, the first thing.
And is that maybe just playing at game speed where you're playing for, 40 minutes for the first time in quite some time probably, or, unfamiliarity with guys on the court?
I would lean more towards that.
Yeah, maybe trying to do too much sometimes.
Probably a little of all the above, but I think I would lean towards the fact that they're so many newcomers to this team, so it takes a little bit of time to figure out exactly how everybody plays and what their style is and all that good stuff. So, yeah. And first game jitters, just the excitement of being a little extra amped up.
They brought out the fire.
I mean, you're talking a bunch of freshmen. So, yeah.
They brought out the fire for the pregame intros. The other thing that they're doing, Jamie, that tunnel that they built?
I love the fire, man.
I do too. You know that tunnel that they built for the escape route for the opponents?
Beard.
For both sides, right?
For Chris Beard.
Right. Well, they're using that now. They've kind of lit it up, and they're using that. The players exit or enter the arena from that deal when they're being introduced. They come running out of that tunnel.
That's fun.
Yeah, it is fun. And have some little special lighting over there for it, and then they kind of run through there. And Rick Gilbert, does his, big voice, guy kind of stuff. Elijah Fisher. That's pretty good, wasn't it?
It was very good. Very good.
Kevin O'Banner. I am not angling.
The starters come out of there?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, starters come out of there.
Good job, Tech. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they did that for the I was at practice on Sunday for the ladies, and they're like, okay, so we're doing something a little bit different for starting lineups. We're going to just run through this real quick, and we're going to come out of this tunnel over here. And and then for the
Did you and Fink get to run out?
No. We did not get to run. We don't run out and put on our headphones. No. No.
And your radio broadcast for tonight.
Wouldn't that be cool, though? That'd be cool.
It would be cool for you guys.
That would be awesome. Thinking I'd come running out of the tunnel like two old men,
Yeah. Chris Level would have this look on his face of embarrassment. He'd be like, why am I having to do this?
How about Hacks? Would Hacks enjoy something like that?
I think he'd be more open to
Yeah.
to it than Level.
Pink and I we'd play to it. Yeah. There's no doubt about it.
Level and I would be the same thing. We'd be like, "Oh, this is embarrassing."
Yeah. But if they did like a nod to you guys at Rip Griffin Park, and behind the mic, and you do a little tip of the hat, kind of lean out of the window there, and kind of do a little acknowledgement.
Yeah, I don't usually have a hat on, but
okay. You could just do a little.
How about I do a tip of the hacks?
Tip of the hacks, yeah. You could just kind of give them a kind of deal, you know.
That'd be great to see you and Fink run out.
Oh, that'd be awesome. Yeah.
Wearing headbands.
No headbands. No headbands. No headbands. Nothing like that.
No, I think in this situation, headbands would be required.
I think so.
Headbands would be required.
Mm-hmm.
Wrist guard's optional, but you have to have the headband.
Could it be red, white, and blue?
Sure. Although it would be better if it was red and black.
No, I understand that, but I was just thinking about that. You know, the old ABA guys. You know, the big wristbands and stuff like that. The headbands.
There's one tennis tournament every year that I wear headband. It's the Davis Cup that was just last weekend. And so I wear the headband of the color of the country that I'm playing for.
Oh, nice.
And so, last year it was Italy, so it was red, white, and green and striped, like you're talking about the red, white, and blue. This year I was Team Canada, so it was just red and white.
How did you do with Team Canada?
Team Canada did not win the championship.
Did you win the championship?
My partner and I did.
The doubles?
In our draw.
Why are we just now hearing about this? Because that's you.
Because you weren't listening to the bottom line on Monday.
It's not important.
Well, did you announce it on the bottom line?
I did
It was
not.
brought up on the bottom line.
I did
Brought
not.
up on the bottom line.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations. You get a nice trophy for that.
We did get nice trophies.
Can you bring it in and show it off to the class for us?
Nobody wants to see
No,
that.
we do want to see it. We do want to see it. We got rid of the cactus. We want to see the trophy.
So I've now been nicknamed Captain Headband because I wear the headband for the Davis Cup.
They call you Cap. I told my wife yesterday, I said, because I said something about, somebody sent me a text or something about your daughter signing with LCU, and I said, yeah, I knew about that. I said, I got to tell you, I said, Jamie could win whatever. I said, and we'd never know about that. That's just Jamie. And here you won a tennis tournament over the weekend. I sit next to you 3 hours a day, 5 days a week.
I just don't think people are that interested in my life.
I think
I'm a pretty boring guy.
Well, because you play to that. There's no doubt. But I mean, I think you lead some exciting things off the table for us that me and the other kids would like to know.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You would have liked to have known the results from the weekend?
Absolutely. Yeah, I think that's cool, and I think it's cool about your daughter as well.
I should be in here drinking Mountain Dew out of because it was like a cup trophy, has a cup on top. Yeah.
Right.
Should be drinking Mountain Dew out of it.
We could all share out of it, right? A little tennis communion, here on the morning drive.
Unfortunately, it did not go well for Team Canada. Yeah. But I don't even know which country won, but
it doesn't matter. You guys won the doubles championship.
Our part. The B.
Doesn't matter. You're doubles champions.
Something like that.
With doubles champion Jamie Lynn, I'm Chuck Heinz. No, I'm not going to do that. Okay, we'll get to Tech football and Joey McGuire next here this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. We're up early, helping you get there too. The Morning Drive on Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com.
7:15 this morning here on the Morning Drive. You're playing your song.
Is that my song?
Oh, Canada.
Oh, that's what it is.
Tennis Canadian champion Jamie Lynn. Jeff McGuire and I are humbled to be in your stead, sir.
It's for charity and you're allowed to gamble. You
Okay.
can bet on your team or anybody. You can bet on any team.
Okay.
And so I was really hoping to win some money off of my team. But, you know, we were in it till the last day. And it didn't happen.
That's too bad.
But, again, it all goes to charity, so that's good.
So now that you're the defending doubles champion, do you get to pick Croatia next year?
See, that would seem fair that I would get to play for Team Croatia.
Team Croatia, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right, Red Raider football, Saturday. They take on the University of Kansas. We'll have it for you at 6 o'clock with the kick. Our coverage begins with Optimum Game Day Live presented by United Supermarkets at 7 a.m. from the Fraser Alumni Pavilion just outside the southwest corner. Just a note to Garrett Luft and Andres Flores, it's going to be chilly willy. Take some hot chocolate, you know, or something.
Space heater, campfire,
whatever. Yeah.
Don't burn the stage though.
All those things, and they'll be on from 7 to 9 with Saturday Morning Quarterback, and get you up to speed on all the high school playoff stuff that takes place. And we'll be talking Texas Tech and KU as the Red Raiders look for their 5th win of the season, and Kansas looks for their 7th win of the season. They come in with a mark of 6-3, coming off a win over number 18 Oklahoma State, 37-16. Red Raiders lost last week to number 7 TCU, 34-24. You looked like you had something really important to say. Mm-hmm. No, a comment. Nope. Okay. Nope. The thing I think that that they're curious about is the status of Jalen Daniels, their quarterback, who has been out for several weeks with a grade 3 separation of his right shoulder. That's kind of important because that's the one he throws with. Mm-hmm. So, but the guy that they had in there last week proved to be pretty good for him. So, you know, it's I guess pick your poison to a degree. Maybe if KU had their choice, they'd say we'd rather have Jalen Daniels than Jason Bean. Although Jason Bean looked pretty good against TCU against Oklahoma State.
So Bean was the starter last year,
mm-hmm.
and really had trouble with turnovers. Showed good athleticism and all that good stuff, but turned the ball over too much.
Mm-hmm.
And so this year, Daniels is the starter, and as they're going on their great start that they're on, Daniels is just killing it. He looks fantastic. And then he gets hurt in the TCU game, and at that point, they were, 5-0, right?
That's correct,
So
yeah.
he gets hurt in the TCU game, and Bean comes in, who is a transfer from North Texas, I believe, right?
I'm going to take your word for it.
Okay, I'm pretty sure he is. And just killed it. He was great in that game. And I think he's been really good this year too. Even in their losses, he's looked pretty good to me. So I did feel like during the season that Daniels was an upgrade over him, but then he's played much better this year than he played last year. So all to say, I have a lot of respect for both of their quarterbacks. I think they're both capable of winning Big 12 games, including one here in Lubbock. So I don't know that one is going to be that much easier than the other. I think
where Daniels maybe hurts you more potentially, or hurts opponents more, is with his legs, because he's been really really good. He's rushed 53 times for a net of 341 yards and 5 touchdowns. Jason Bean has rushed 34 times for a net of 212. He has 3 rushing touchdowns. Obviously, they're both.
I think it's 6 of one, half dozen the other. I think both can hurt you with their legs.
And Daniels has been a little more accurate, not much, but a little bit more passing wise. 78 of 117, 1 interception, 11 touchdowns. Bean has been 68, 103, 3 interceptions. He also has thrown for 11 touchdowns and 986 yards. So your point is made right there. You know,
they're both good.
Yeah,
they're both good, and that speaks to what the coaching staff has done, progressing him from last year to this year.
Yeah,
and give him some credit. He didn't win the starting job, right? But
stayed there.
And stayed focused and kept working hard, and now he got his opportunity, and he was really good. It would be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I'm not in that program enough or paying attention to that program enough, but I almost feel like it would be hard for them to make the change because he's playing so well.
Kind of make that case, right? If you're kind of looking at it from the outside in, it's like, okay, well, this guy is, kind of been up to the task.
Yeah. I mean, can you lose your job due to injury? It feels like you can in this situation. If the hot hand is playing well out there for you, you stick with the hot hand.
Yeah, and see, the thing, I think the thing for them was they lost at Oklahoma by 10 and then lost at Baylor 35-23. So I think there were some question marks, at quarterback, going,
Maybe
hey,
so.
when can Daniels be back in? Because you felt like you were on a roll with him winning the first 5, although the first 5, I mean, you didn't play anywhere near the opponent that you did the last 3.
Yeah, that had a lot to do with it.
Yeah, when you think about Iowa State, Duke, and Houston and West Virginia, I'm sorry, but that just does not compare to TCU, Oklahoma, and Baylor.
And you won the Iowa State game, scoring how many points?
14.
14.
And that was with Daniels at quarterback.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
so
right.
It's not as if his offense was lighting it up. Then again, that's the best defense in the Big 12 Conference.
Yeah. All right, so here's Coach Joey McGuire on the KU offense.
They play 2 quarterbacks. We're not really sure who we're going to get between the 2, but both of them, create plays with their feet. They do a great job. Whenever they don't run them probably as much as maybe like true triple option, but they do run them enough to where they're a threat. Bean had a huge touchdown against Oklahoma State last week. He's got great speed. I know him from high school. He's from Mansfield Lake Ridge, and ran in track. I mean, he's got legit track speed. It's really good. Their running back, total yardage, had 338 yards against Oklahoma State's really good football player. In the open field can make you miss. But that's kind of like this conference, man. We're playing great running backs every week. We just got through playing one.
Yeah, Devin Neal. I mean, he was really good last week for KU against Oklahoma State, and we're talking about. But you have to also remember we're talking about a program last year that ended like a Big 12 road losing streak that went back for years when they finally beat Texas, on that 2-point conversion. So I mean, the turnaround that they've had from not only this year to last year, but from even 2 or 3 years ago, when it was just a complete mess with Les Miles and others.
Man, it was.
I mean, so
he's done an amazing job.
Just to get that thing turned around. So we shall see. So we'll get some more comments from the coaches with regard to KU. The receiver that you kind of have to watch out for, his name is Luke Grimm. Doesn't lead the team in receiving yards or touchdowns, but leads the team in receptions with 33. So he can get the ball and probably get them some first downs. Just in kind of looking at some stats for them, they give up more first downs rushing wise, and they give up more first downs passing wise, and they give up more first downs penalty wise to their opponents. Their opponents have like 220 first downs. So you feel like you should be able to move the ball against this defense.
It's plain and simple, it's not a great defense.
Yeah.
It's a very good offense, and it makes them fun to watch. But I'm sure your guy Lance is trying to improve on the defense in upcoming years because he's improved the talent level all over the place. They play hard, all that. I mean, mad props to him. He's done a great job, really great job. But they got to get better on defense. But
the other thing you kind of wonder about is, okay, so this is the first time since 2008 they've become bowl eligible. So, how hungry are they still? How did they get a little fat and happy by beating Oklahoma State?
You could believe that would happen. Let's hope that plays into the Red Raiders' favor.
You got a Texas Tech team that's still looking to get bowl eligible and knows how big a game this is. So we'll see.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
All right, you have a question for me, Jeff?
I do, Chuck Heinz. I do have a question for you. You are waiting for this Chuck question, are you not?
Well, we do this every day. We're here Monday through Friday.
Yeah, but it's always Jamie asking. It's never me.
Jamie
sure,
says,
and these are generally sports-related questions.
Yeah.
Oh, we got to go sports? No, I'm just
generally.
Kidding. No, I do actually have a question.
You've been dying to ask him.
Okay, well, go ahead and do the thing here.
We already hit it. You're ready to go.
We already did this? Okay. All right. Chuck Heinz.
Yeah.
Texas Tech, not bowl eligible.
Correct.
Kansas, bowl eligible.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
If Texas Tech does not win this weekend against Kansas, would you consider this season a failure?
Well, I picked Tech to finish 5-7 at the start of the season.
Mm-hmm.
So, failure. No, I'm not going to say it's a failure because I think you've made a lot of progress. I think not having a healthy quarterback has really stymied you. I said yesterday that I felt like that you were going to beat TCU if you'd had Baron Morton for the entire game.
I don't think so.
Okay, that's just my opinion. I think that you make a field goal against K-State. You just haven't been able to finish. So no, I'm not going to say it's a failure season because I think you look back at a year ago where we were. We weren't bowl eligible this time a year ago. You're 2 days into the Joey McGuire regime. I think you've brought excitement back to Jones Stadium. I think people are pumped up still for football. I think there have been some things that have obviously transpired with the fourth downs and stuff like that and the injured quarterbacks and some disappointments. I mean, I had measured expectations going into this year because I didn't feel like that he had all the players in place yet that he wanted to be able to build his program.
I agree with that. So
I'm not going to say it's a failure season.
Okay. I wouldn't either. I would not think it was a failure season either. Although, as I'm finding out, I think I was the most optimistic of any Raymar personality in this entire building and compound because I think everyone was 6-6 or 5-7 except for me. I think I was the only one at 7-5.
Yeah.
And there's a chance to still get there. I mean, it would take, some things happening that didn't happen the way they did before.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jeff, what do you think?
Yes.
Yes, it's a failure season.
And while I was 5-7 at the beginning of the year,
mm-hmm.
the way you played at the beginning of the year, the way you've played against top 25 teams this year in consecutive weeks after week after week, the win over Texas, which is one I was not expecting in any way, shape, or form. Yes, if this team doesn't go bowling, it is a mass disappointment.
No. The question wasn't if they don't go bowling. The question was if you don't beat Kansas, is this season a failure?
I think if you don't beat Kansas, you don't go bowling.
I disagree with that.
So you think you can beat both Iowa State in Ames on the road and Oklahoma in your final week?
Yeah, is Iowa State going to jump into their Superman costume all of a sudden?
You haven't won on the road yet.
Yeah, okay, they've only won one time in Big 12 play.
I get that. I'm not saying that it's going to be a fun game to watch. That's going to be like a 12-9 game.
I'll be real curious how anxious Oklahoma is to play a football game. I mean, they potentially could get bowl eligible this week. I mean, if they lose to West Virginia, my goodness.
How far has OU fallen when we're talking about them getting bowl eligible in November?
No question. Yeah, no, I mean it's a huge fall for them. Huge. And
welcome to our world, Sooner boys. Welcome to what we've been dealing with for the last 12 years. Maybe they're getting ready to go into a Howard Schnellenberger, John Blake era again. Remember back when Gary Gibbs wasn't good enough for those guys when they did their own Nebraska. Let's go fire Frank Solich. We're going to go fire a guy that wasn't
exactly lighting it up, but
he was going 7-4, 8-3 every year. But they wanted to go 9-2, 11-0.
The John Blake experiment was
that was bad.
Was bad. was bad.
That was Kevin Prince right there.
So Oklahoma and West Virginia play this week. They play at 11.
Mm-hmm.
West Virginia's 3-6.
Is that at West Virginia?
Yeah, it's in Morgantown. And Oklahoma's 5-4. So
how close to bowl eligibility is West Virginia?
They're 3-6. They would have to.
They got to win out.
Win out. Mm-hmm. They have to win out. I mean, right now you got a bunch of 6-3 teams. Kansas 6-3, Oklahoma State 6-3, Baylor K-State 6-3.
I say this on our show. I say this on the Bottom Line every day, and people get all mad at me. And I said the Big 12 is just a big steaming pile of average. I know you got one team that's 9-0.
I don't look at it as average. I look at it as there's parity, and I think there's been some leveling out. I think you've had some teams rise up and have some teams that have come back to the pack a little bit. Mm-hmm. But I don't look at this as a steaming pile of average. I'd rather be this than
I don't care how you say it. You can inflect however you want. It's a steaming pile of average.
Well, I'd rather be this, where you have competitive games every week, than have a couple of teams at the very top and then have a whole bunch of stinking nothing. That's what I'd rather have.
You mean like the Big Ten?
And the SEC.
Nah, you see, that's where you're wrong, my friend.
You know, I mean, I'm not watching it every week like you are.
If you think you're wrong, I'd say turn on your TV on New Year's Day, which I know you will, and you watch the 8 teams playing in New Year's Day games.
Well, okay. I mean, again, I would rather be in this boat than be in the boat where you have, unless you're at the very top. And if you're at the very top, then to hell with the rest of the people. Okay. But in this particular case, I feel like that these Big 12 games have been more enjoyable this year, have been more competitive this year as a whole than what we have seen in recent years. So, look, given how Kansas has played this year, they got up to a 5-0 start. Mm-hmm. Then they lost 3 in a row. Mm-hmm. Then they pummeled Oklahoma State last week. You know, so they're 6-3. Yeah. So if you'd have said at the start of the year, yeah, everybody's saying Kansas, free space on bingo, but we didn't know. We didn't know exactly what they had.
No. We sure didn't.
So we didn't know that Kansas would be good season if you lose to KU.
Neither will I, but Jeff will.
No, I mean, too.
Nobody knew at the beginning of this year that Kansas was going to figure out a way to put it together for the beginning of this season. Nobody knew that Oklahoma State was going to be a bucket of terrible, and no one knew that
they had an injured quarterback last week. You know, in Spencer Sanders.
No, I'm talking about Oklahoma.
Oh, Oklahoma, yeah.
Boomer Sooner. Remember?
You said Oklahoma
They
State.
brought in Noel Milton, and he was going to be the savior. Remember? Oh, he's so Central Florida success story. We're going to bring him here. It'd be great. Yeah, it's to be swirling the drain.
All right, 7:39 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Thoughts, comments, Yates Flooring Center chat line. We'll get to some of them. Boom, boom, boom is next.
Oh.
We get this... Snead came in ruffling feathers today. Somebody thinks they're going to have me unraveled by 9, that you're going to have me unraveled by 9. Ha! Average. Chris touting the SEC company line. Yeah, I think there's some truth to that. 7:40 this morning at Lubbock Sports Station. Double T 97.3.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thanks for being with us with Jamie Lent out, Chris Snead in, Jeff McGuire here. I'm Chuck Heinz, present and counted for. And we look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to doublet973.com for that, or the mobile app. It's presented by, the mobile app is Happy State Bank. Good morning, fellows. Red Raider Charlie here. Chris, recite the time you and your team were planning your getaway to the van when the Aggies kicked that winning field goal to beat Alabama and the kids rushed the field. Chuck and Jeff and Chris can fly now. Yeah.
I also flattened a kid on the way out.
Yeah, I don't know that you should brag about that. I think
you know what? Here's the deal. That kid was on our field.
I know, but you did that intentionally.
No, actually, I didn't do that intentionally. I did that as self-preservation.
When you brag like that and say, "I flattened that kid," well, that doesn't sound. That's not very big of you. Really. Right?
Okay.
Right?
Well, you know what? Last time I didn't do it, a kid flattened me.
You can run around him.
Really? Really?
Gave me those
okay. There's 80,000 people running onto a field. Just run around him.
80,000.
Did you see that field?
Which time?
At A&M when they beat Alabama.
I don't think I saw it. No.
You're the one guy that didn't see that.
I don't think I saw that.
Okay.
There may not have been 80. There was definitely 70.
Yeah.
Everybody in that stadium was on that field.
Let's see here. Chuck.
Yeah, and I'm going to continue to talk about flattening that kid because that kid would have flattened me if he had a chance.
I know, but I mean,
yeah.
Trying to be your attorney here, really.
Okay.
Quite
all right. Well, that kid hadn't sued me yet.
And
you know what? Here's the deal. You know what? You want to be like that loser Tech kid that shoved a guy because that's what happens on that field.
Yeah.
Is that someone you don't see comes up there where they're not supposed to be, runs up there, shoves a guy, and then runs off the field like a coward.
Okay. I mean, I hear what you're saying. I'm just saying.
At least I took credit for flattening the kid.
When you say it like that, though, it means it makes it sound like you sought him out and flattened him.
Here's what happened. I was running to the fan, and I was running on my path. He got in my path.
I get that. I mean, that's fair to say. But when you say you flattened that kid, it makes it sound like you sought him out to flatten him.
Okay. All right.
That's what makes it. I mean, just being true.
That's not what I did.
I know, but I mean, that's what it sounds like, though.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
No. Yeah, you are wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, you are wrong.
Okay. All right. We'll have Red Raider basketball on the radio tonight on Double T 97.3 and 100.7 The Score. Coverage here on Double T 97.3 gets underway at 6.
La Tech?
Playing
Texas Southern. La Tech is Monday.
La Tech's Monday, and then they go to Hawaii.
Yeah, you had me all kind of confused this morning, too.
I'm sorry.
I was like, wait a second.
Let's see. Attaboy Sneader, truck dat blank. Mm-hmm.
It's okay. I can't. I'm afraid of getting sued now by the law firm of Chuck and Heinz over here.
Come on, Chuck. I'd lay every last one out. They aren't supposed to be threatening others' safety. I'm just saying, given today's social media world.
Well, guess what? Get off the field.
Okay. All right. We'll stay off your field.
That's not my field.
No,
the field. I said the field.
It kind of sounded like it was your field.
Okay, all right. Are we going to go down that road now?
No.
It's kind of sound like your field.
No.
It wasn't my field.
I don't have time to go down that road right now. I want to hear from Coach McGuire on a couple things, and then maybe Coach Kitley and DeRuyter as well. For Texas Tech, they play Kansas on Saturday, 6 o'clock kick at Jones Stadium, and we'll have it with Optimum Game Day live coverage beginning at 7 a.m., and then take you inside the stadium with the Red Raider Tailgate Show at 5, and then the kick at 6. Here is Coach Joey McGuire talking about how big this KU turnaround is right now.
Well, it's going to be interesting. I don't want to go as far yet, but I think you could compare what Bill Snyder, what he did, it's hard to compare because he did it for such a long period of time, which I believe Lance can definitely do. But if you look at See, I had so many I've had a bunch of players. Like, I had 3 players on that 2008 Orange Bowl team. And I know Coach Mangino really well. And so I saw what he did, and then I saw 4 coaches after that not be able to do what Lance has done. And so, if 5 years from now, we might say this is either the first or second biggest turnaround in college football. I definitely probably say the second. I don't know how you can say K-State's not the first. There might be another school. Don, you've done this for a long time. You and I probably have the grayest hair. I don't know. Like, really, I don't know besides K-State if there's a bigger turnaround. But this is pretty huge because we've all seen, everybody in here has seen what Kansas has been and what now he has done, and he's done it in 2 years.
I would say, I don't even want to say tap the brakes on that. I would say slam on the brakes on that. I think it's way, 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 way too soon to compare KU's small turnaround this year to what Bill Snyder did. I mean, first of all, K-State was in far worse shape than KU when Lance Leipold, however the hell you say his name, took over. When Bill Snyder took over, I mean, they were on the verge of shutting the program down. That was before the big money of television.
Yeah.
And they were literally going, why are we still playing football when we're losing our ever living tail and we're getting the bejesus kicked out of us. And they were truly the toilet of the college football industry. Kansas wasn't.
Well, Kansas State was right down the street.
No, I'm just saying.
I know what you're getting at. Though.
I mean, I'm paying K-State a compliment by saying there's no way you can compare this small turnaround to what Bill Snyder did at K-State. There's just no way.
The funny thing.
There's just no way.
Weren't you pointing this out? Somebody pointed this out on this air. All this success that Kansas State has had, and they still are in like the bottom 2 all-time college football records. Someone look that up. It's like fascinating that they've had all this success, and they're still like near the bottom of all-time winning records, all-time records for college football.
Okay, I didn't know that. It wasn't me that brought that up, but
somebody on this air brought it up, and I was like, "That's fascinating."
That sounds like Dickens, to be honest, because he's really good at researching that kind of stuff.
I wish I could say
I'll just say this: I think what they've done is good. I think I've seen this with KU before, where they'll win 6 games or 7 games, and then they'll go right back down. So, and I've said this for a long time that when KU fired Mangino and Tech fired Leach. And Tommy Tuberville rented a plane to go to Lawrence to talk to them about that job before this job came open here. He'd have been a far better fit up there than here, and they would have been thrilled with 6-6, 7-5, 5-7. Every once in a while an 8-4. Get to a bowl game. That would have been, I think, a perfect fit based on what I know after the fact and kind of how it's gone up there and how it went down here. So anyway,
they're in the bottom 15 still.
K-State.
Yeah. They're 100. Is that right? Yeah. 100 bottom 17 or 18. They're 112th out of 131.
So anyway, that's just my take on that, is that it's not anywhere near to the K-State turnaround yet.
Yeah.
It's nice of him to say that, but I think he's paying his opponent a compliment, but I don't. And a guy that he knows, a coach that he knows, but I just can't.
Oh, wait, Texas Tech's 60th all time.
In victories?
Yeah.
Wow.
Smack dab in the middle.
Smack dab in the middle. Well, you'd rather be that than 15 from the bottom. Where's KU on that list?
Let's see.
My guess is going to be 100 and something.
107.
Okay.
10 spots ahead of K-State.
Yeah.
Gosh. Our UTEP Miners, 126th.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.